Good afternoon. My board name's Jim Edgar. My given name is Lhtako, and I'm originally from Lhtako Nation. I live in Quesnel here, and I work for Lhtako Nation, the land that we're standing on is their traditional unceded territory. And welcome everybody here. It's good to see the council here. We have Ray, Wanda, and Tim, and Bryant on my left. I think it was about a year and a half ago, the elders adopted me into the elders council, and it's been an honor and a pleasure to do that, to be with them and to help them out in the best way that I can with the things that I do. And I was asked to do an opening prayer. I don't speak carrier, but I'll just pray the way I know how to pray, and everybody else can pray the way they pray, in your mind, your heart, your spirit. I just ask the good Creator to look down on each and every one of us here today. Look down on the community of Lhtako and look after the beautiful people that live there, the beautiful elders. There's a lot of elders on that reserve, and they're very, very beautiful people to be with. And for the city, Bob Simpson and his crew, for everything that they're doing today here to help bring things back to the way it should be.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Raymond Aldred. I'm a council of Lhtako Dene Nation. I'd like to thank you all for joining us here today and welcome you guys to the territory of Lhtako Dene Nation. And we're very pleased with everything that's been going on with the city. We'd like to thank Mayor Bob and the councillor of Quesnel. This what's happening today is going to be a big step into reconciliation of our people, and it's at least wordless.
It's a great honor to stand here today and on our traditional territory. I just remember those kids that never made it home from residential school. I'm one of the fortunate ones that made it back. I still think of it today and brings tears to my eyes. The ones that never made it home. I'm glad the young kids here today didn't go through what we went through in school. It brings back bad memories from the school. Excuse me. I asked the Creator today to watch over every one of us, to give us strength to go on. We came out of that school and we came out fighting. Thank you.
My name is Ron Rasmussen. I'm a chartered professional accountant. I've lived in Quesnel for some 20 years. Came in from the prairies, which is a good spot to come from. I've been associated with the nation for the last year and a half, but I've been their auditor since 2010, which has been a fabulous time for me. I was fortunate enough to be asked to join them as their administrator on October the 5th of 2020, and we made great headway. And this is one of the crowning achievements of that headway, this dedication of this Ceal Tingley Park today. Thank you to the City of Quesnel, the people of Quesnel, the City Council for doing all the things that they have done. But especially thank you to the nation for being strong, for being committed, and for being successful in this matter. This is a great thing for the nation. It's also a great thing for the city. So all the best to the nation, all the best to the City of Quesnel. Once again, thank you to Council and Mayor Bob Simpson and the rest of the people of the city.
I'm Bob Simpson. I'm the mayor of the City of Quesnel. Most of council is here. I see Councillor Martin Runge, Councillor Mitch Vick, I believe Councillor Rudenberg is here as well. We do have some councillors that also have day jobs that haven't been able to join us. I also want to thank the staff, and in particular Lindsay Blair. This is one of her projects and has helped to pull this together. So for context, this is a site that has national historic significance because of what we refer to as Voyageur Rock just down the Riverfront Trail. But what you find if you read Alexander Mackenzie's journal is that when Alexander Mackenzie actually came to the confluence of the Quesnel and the Fraser River, the population that was settled on this bank and on the bank under the Red Bluffs, and hence Lhtako for the longest time was called the Red Bluff Indian Band, was so heavily populated that it frightened Alexander Mackenzie. And instead of landing here at Voyageur Rock, where it's claimed he landed, he actually landed over at Baker Creek to give himself some distance and to give himself an opportunity to approach the First Nations with no weapons, but unbeknownst to the First Nations, he had hidden men with muskets in the bushes just in case he needed to be backed up. The settlement of this area for over 10,000 years by the Lhtako was one of the largest First Nation settled populations in the province of British Columbia, next to Haida Gwaii. Haida Gwaii was the largest settlement. This was reputed to be the second largest settlement. And as a council, we decided in the previous term that instead of mouthing the words, we recognize that we are on the traditional territory of the Lhtako Dene, that we were actually going to embark on the process of recognition in fact and reconciliation in reality. Not mere words, not things that you said pro forma before you gave a speech, but in a way that we began to foster relationships with not just Lhtako, but with all of the First Nations that have a historical relationship to this confluence area. Like, so-called business-oriented people, we thought it would take about 3 months. We'd sign a protocol agreement with Lhtako. A couple months later, we'd sign a protocol agreement with NASCO, and we would just move on in our transactional business type way. 6 years later, we're finally getting to where we wanted to be because Chief LeBrun, who unfortunately can't be with us today, very wisely said right out of the gate, we're not doing renaming, we're not doing any of the stuff that's the sort of the stuff of the day. We're going to work on our relationship. And the previous council, myself, Councillor Rudenberg was involved in it as well, went back and forth with Lhtako because all of the other First Nations told us we must first do right by Lhtako, whose traditional territory the city is built upon. We went back and forth with them. We broke bread. I learned to drum. I sort of learned to dance. That this will be forever known as Lhtako Dene Park from this point forward. And that's by unanimous decision of our council at the request of Lhtako Chief and Council and on behalf of their elders as well. But it's more than a naming. For the last 2 years, our staff have been working, particularly with Lhtako elders, on trying to find out how we could bring the culture and history of Lhtako into this place that is sacred and special to the nation. Our intention is for it to become a special place that tells the Lhtako history in special ways. What will be placed in here, and you'll see an artist rendering of it, is a large metal sculpture of a traditional dip netter with salmon swimming up towards the net. On where the steam pump is, we're hoping to put in some, again, metal sculpture, artist renderings of the type of salmon that were coming up here. The other piece you'll see in the artist rendering is we have designed in collaboration with the elder community very artistic, interpretive signage using basalt and sculptures. And those will be the storytelling pieces of art that will surround this park. And then eventually, with work with the elders and the Lhtako community and some archivists, we will then surround the park with lecterns that tell the story in the English language. And we hope to also do carrier translations. So that's our dream for this park. Because of supply chain issues, because of issues around granting, etc., it's going to take us some time to do the conversion. But we wanted to do the renaming first. And then once we get the first pieces here, we've committed with Lhtako to come back and have a true celebration with a feast and to celebrate the conversion of the park. The one other piece that I would like to speak to that we've been working on that you know is a very powerful piece, and some of our elders have been working on it. Our staff have worked with the elders as well to produce a series of videos, and we'll be releasing those videos in the fall. And those videos are in both English and carrier. And one of them, and Bryant is front and center on one, is a condensation of the stories that the elders told while we were doing videos on moose hide tanning and on traditional herb collection and tea making, etc. And that video is extremely powerful, and we will be releasing that this fall in conjunction with the National Day of Reconciliation too. So this is a set piece. Yes, it's a name change today, but it's the set piece for a host of pieces of work that we've been doing together to restore First Nations' rightful place in our community. And as Chief LeBrun and I have talked many, many times, part of what we hope is that by restoring pride of place, by allowing our First Nations to see themselves in our community, to see their history expressed and their culture expressed in our community, we can begin to restore pride of self in the community, and we can begin to address some of those long-term wrongs. And you know, Brian, you have every reason to feel that heartfelt sadness that you feel, and I think we're all learning how deep that sadness runs, and so we appreciate that sharing every time that bubbles up to the surface. But we do hope that by doing the things that we're doing together in the collaboration and the expression of that collaboration, we can begin to restore a right relationship with all of our communities.